NFL.com just named the Denver Broncos most underappreciated player. Now, I'm not going to lie, if you asked somebody who was a fan of a different team or maybe a member of the national media, and then you asked a member of Broncos country this same question, you would probably get a different response. If you asked somebody in Denver the question of who do you think the most underrated Broncos player is, you'd probably get an answer like Jaleel McLaughlin or Jaquan McMillan. But from the national media perspective, there's a guy who ended up getting this recognition from NFL.com that I feel like gets the amount of love that he deserves here in Denver, but not so much from the national fan base. And I think you guys can probably figure out who it is. It's Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners, we all know here in Denver, he is one of, if not the best guard in football right now. We know that. But when you ask somebody who's a member of the national media or is a fan of a different team, who are the best interior offensive linemen in the NFL, you'll hear names like Zach Martin, you'll hear names like Creed Humphrey at center, but you won't really hear Quinn Miners being talked about in that conversation. But when you look at the numbers and when you study the tape, Miners is a top-tier run blocker in the NFL. Probably the best run-blocking guard in the league right now. This dude can take defenders and he can push them 10, 15 yards down the field. He can toss them like toys and then throw them down to the ground to finish it off. This dude is the true definition of a nasty mauler up front. And I also feel like his pass blocking is something that's a little bit underrated. Sure, he had a little bit of struggles with pass protection in certain games last year, such as the Detroit Lions game, but on the whole, the sample size was very, very good. So, Quinn Miners is somebody who is now in line to receive a massive payday, just like this article here talks about, written by Gennaro Felice of NFL.com. He's set to command 9 figures here on his next deal. You know that the Denver Broncos are not going to let him see free agency. The Broncos are highly prioritizing extensions for both Quinn Miners and Pat Surtain, their 2 top gets from the 2021 NFL Draft. Unfortunately, Javonte Williams, he hasn't really been able to stay healthy enough to earn potentially that next deal, but Quinn Miners and Pat Surtain were certainly the golden gems of that 2021 draft class. And again, I feel like here in Denver, you ask who the most underrated Broncos player is, you're not going to get the answer of Quinn Miners because we already know here how good he is. I feel like this article is doing a good job of putting Quinn Miners more on display for the national media, for them to maybe realize, okay, this dude should be talked about amongst the top interior offensive linemen in the game. He's not somebody who should be overlooked just because he's played on a bad football team for the past 3 years and he came from a small school. I feel like Quinn Miners is very well respected amongst the offensive line nerd community, just not so much on the grand landscape, and that's what I'm hoping to change with this video. Now, again, man, I want to give some love to somebody like Jaquan McMillan because he went from an undrafted free agent in 2022 to somebody who is now one of the best nickels in the game right now. So that's also somebody who I feel like is an underrated player that should get some love in an article like this, but I totally understand why they wanted to give love to Quinn Miners because he just doesn't get enough love from the national media. All right, Broncos country, I am curious, who is your most underrated and underappreciated player on the Denver Broncos roster? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support. We just hit 3,500 subscribers on the 31st. I am hoping that we can hit 4,000 by the end of this month. I feel like that is very doable, guys. All right, and until next time, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.